Team Slack for Slacker, bringing you another character deck profile, today of Professor Kronos, or Crowler, whichever you'd like to call him, or her, whatever. He could go either way, really. So we'll start off with 3 Ancient Gear Golems. This is the boss monster of the deck. Has 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense, level 8, Earth Machine monster. Cannot be special summoned, unless you're Crowler, who can still special summon him somehow. If he attacks a defense mode monster, he has piercing. And if he attacks, no spells or traps can be activated by the opponent till the end of the damage step. That is the basic Ancient Gear effect. When they attack, your opponent can't activate spells or traps in response to them attacking, which is very OP in a character duel, really. So we have 3 Ancient Gear Golems. Then we have 2 Ancient Gear Beasts. Ancient Gear Beast is 6 stars, 2,000 attack, 2,000 defense. Cannot be special summoned. If he destroys a monster by battle, and if it's effect monster that would have an effect if destroyed by battle or whatever, it won't activate. It'll negate its effect. And when he attacks, your opponent can't activate spells or traps. 1 Ancient Gear Engineer. 1,500 attack, 1,500 defense, level 5, so it's weak as shit. But it's unaffected by any trap that targets it. Can activate spells or traps when it attacks. And after it attacks, you get to blow up a spell or trap. We have 3 Ancient Gear Soldiers. And your soldier is the basic level 4 monster. 13/13 both ways. Pretty weak. It also has the basic effect of when it attacks, your opponent can activate spells or traps. We have 1 copy of Ancient Gear Cannon, who has 500 attack and defense, and you can tribute him to do 500 damage, and neither player can activate traps for the rest of the turn. We have 3 Ancient Gears. Ancient Gear only has 100 attack and 800 defense, but if you have an Ancient Gear on the field, you can special summon Ancient Gear from your hand in face-up attack position. So if you didn't normal summon him this turn, you can, and you just somehow kept him on the field, you can special summon another one, and even another one, and then tribute them, and maybe summon a monster that doesn't suck. That's all the Ancient Gear monsters. He plays 2 Trojan Horse. This monster's pretty good, because if you tribute him, he counts as 2 tributes for the attribute of an Earth monster. So, obviously, his ace monster being Ancient Gear Golem requires 2 sacrifices, is an Earth monster. So you tribute 1 Trojan Horse, and you get an Ancient Gear Golem. And then we have 1 Emmis the Infinity. It's not an Ancient Gear, it's not an Earth monster, but he played it, and it's big as hell, and every time it kills a monster by battle, it increases its attack by 700 permanently for each one. So if you do summon it, this thing can get retardedly big as hell for no reason. Moving on to spell cards, we have 2 copies of Ancient Gear Castle. First off, this gives all Ancient Gear monsters 300 more attack. Also, whenever either player normal summons or sets a monster, this gets a counter. And then you can tribute this as tribute materials for a tribute summon of an Ancient Gear monster, and it'll count as many materials as counters that are on this card. So once it gets to 2, it's pretty much max, and you don't even need to keep track of it anymore. 2 copies of Ancient Gear Tank. This equips only to an Ancient Gear monster. It gains 600 attack, and if this goes to the graveyard, your opponent takes 600 damage. 2 copies of Ancient Gear Workshop. This lets you add any Ancient Gear monster from your graveyard to your hand. Pretty simple. Ancient Gear Drill. We have 2 copies of this card. This card is hilarious, because if you control an Ancient Gear monster, you discard a card, but then you can set any spell card from your deck face down. Any spell card. Even the banned ones. I love activating this just to set Pot of Greed face down because it searches Pot of Greed. I like doing that. Only problem is it can't be activated the turn it is set by this card, so you have to wait to activate your Pot of Greed, but it searches Pot of Greed. We have 1 copy of Spell Gear, which allows you to special summon an unspecial summonable monster. Its effect is you send 3 Ancient Gear cards you control to the graveyard, and then you can special summon up to 1 Ancient Gear Golem from your hand and 1 from your deck. ignoring the summoning condition. So you can special summon an Ancient Gear Golem, even though it says it can't be special summoned. So Crowler has cards that let him break the rules, because he's Professor Crowler. You can't normal summon or set until the end of your next turn after you activate this card. And also you have to destroy any other monsters you control except for the golems. But it's pretty damn funny. One copy of Ancient Gear Fist, which allows you to fist any opposing monster. Equip to an Ancient Gear monster. It destroys any monster battles after damage calculation. One copy of Ancient Gear Factory. This is an interesting card. You pick any Ancient Gear monster in your hand, and then you remove from play Ancient Gear monsters in your graveyard whose total levels are equal to or more than twice the level of the monster you selected in your hand. And if you manage to pay that cost and remove all those monsters, you can normal summon that card without tributing. So if you have a golem and you remove from play 16 levels worth of Ancient Gear monsters in your graveyard, you can just normal summon your golem and be done with it. One Ancient Gear Explosive. This allows you to target a face-up Ancient Gear monster on your side of the field and destroy it. And then your opponent takes half its attack points as effect damage. I have killed one person with this. But I was already winning the duel by such a large margin, it really didn't matter. One copy of Heavy Storm, because Heavy Storm's a good card. One copy of Magnet Circle Level 2, which allows you to special summon a Level 2 or lower machine-type monster from your hand. And in a perfect world, I would use this to special summon Ancient Gear, and then use Ancient Gear's effect to special summon another Ancient Gear, and then tribute both those Ancient Gears to summon Ancient Gear Golem. One copy of Limiter Removal. If you don't know what this does, it doubles the attack of all machine monsters you control until the end of the turn when they blow up. So, one copy of Confiscation, because I can confiscate anything I want. I'm the friggin' teacher. Pay 1,000 to look at your opponent's hand and discard a card from it. Here's the reason why it's banned. It's really good. One copy of Premature Burial. Pay 800 life points, special summon a monster from graveyard and attack mode. Pretty simple. One copy of Graceful Charity. One copy of Polymerization. One copy of Pot of Greed. That's all the spells. Moving on to traps. We have 4 trap cards. We have 2 copies of Zero Gravity. Changes the battle positions of all face-up monsters you and your opponent control. So if you want to do some crazy shenanigan combos, you could switch your opponent's monster to defense mode and then attack with your golem and do piercing damage if they had lower defense than attack, if you wanted to do that for some reason. I have. It's funny. 2 copies of Damage Condenser. When you take battle damage, you can discard a card and special summon any monster from your deck with attack less than or equal to the damage you just took when you activated this trap card. So, if you needed like a Trojan Horse or something and you take like 16 damage or direct damage by 16, you can discard a card, special summon Trojan Horse, sacrifice it for Golem. Or if you took minimal damage, but you had the stupid Ancient Gear in your hand and you had a Golem, you could use this to special summon an Ancient Gear from your deck, then use Ancient Gear to special summon himself, and then tribute him for summon a Golem. That rounds out the main deck. And then we have 1 card in the extra deck, which is Ultimate Ancient Gear Golem. And it's even in Ultimate. Because it's so ultimate, it doesn't even have another rarity. To make that, you'll need Polymerization, of course, and you'll need 1 Ancient Gear Golem and two Ancient Gear monsters. Any Ancient Gear monsters will be fine. You don't actually need to have 3 golems like most ultimate fusions do. But if you get 3 golems, why wouldn't you want to fuse 3 golems together? Because that would be hilarious. Alright, he has 4,400 attack, 3,400 defense. He has piercing. He has the, if he attacks, you can't activate anything. Also, he has a secondary effect. When he's destroyed, you can special summon 1 Ancient Gear Golem from your graveyard, even though he can't be special summoned. So, you get to special summon an unspecial summonable monster again, and then you just replace it with a 3,000 Golem. It's like, yeah, you got over my big-ass monster, and I'll get over my second big-ass monster. And that is the Professor Crowler deck profile. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave some comments on more stuff you want to see. And it's been a while since I brought a video, but I hope you like this one. And Team Cypher Sucker is signing out.